Hi everyone, it's Alyssa here at the Township of Washington Library, and I'm here with our February craft for adults, which is a DIY, totally custom, up to your imagination tote bag. You are going to paint it, and I've given you a few supplies for this. So I've given you paint, which as you can see, I've emptied out onto a paper plate because it will make mixing and sponge painting easier. I've given you the sponge, and I've given you some Q-tips. And I've given you some cardstock that you can cut out and make whatever letters you want, and I'll show you how to do that as well. We're going to start with this sponge painting. So basically we're going to make a stamp with a sponge, and you can create something totally unique, and it's basically stamping, but the sponge gives it a really cool texture. So for this, something like a simple geometric shape will work the best. Um, I've seen triangles, which I really like. I've seen an example with half circles and lines. You can do something that's leaf shaped. It's really up to your imagination. So you can grab a marker to help yourself trace it out if you would like. You can freehand it if you want. But yeah, you can do triangles, you can do a leaf shape. I actually might do a leaf shape. I think that sounds nice. So I'm going to use a marker and just help myself sketch this out. And I want to try to get more than one. Um, if you're doing a simpler geometric shape, it's nice because then you can make sure that they're all the same, a little easier, but I think I want to do a leaf, and then I can use some of the leftover, maybe make some little squares or little baby triangles or something to go in between. You can use the sponge to its fullest. And then you just take your scissors and cut it out. And then I just cut the corners so I have these little triangles that I can use for filler if I want. And then you are going to figure out your color palette. So I like the idea of doing either all one color or doing complementary colors. So on the color wheel, there are colors that are close together, they're adjacent to each other. And then sometimes it's cool to throw in one contrasting color, so something that's opposite on the color wheel. So you can get your paint colors and start mixing them to find out what you would like. And then you just start stamping. So you load up your sponge with your color, and you can see there's nice texture from the sponge, and then you kind of decide how you want it laid out. Maybe I want my leaves to cascade down this way, or maybe you want straight lines, whatever you would like. So I'm going to start in the corner and press evenly all the way down, and you get your little shape. And you can also play around with the intensity, so you can load it after each take, or you can let it fade out as it goes down or up or in or out, however you would like it. And then you can also do your other colors as well. So you can do alternating, you can do a gradient. There are really no rules, but I'm just trying to give you some options and ideas. And it's cool because as the paint runs out, you can see the texture change, and you get some more of the texture of the tote bag popping through, some more of the little holes in the sponge. It's totally up to you how you would like to do that and let that all manifest. Don't forget if you want to take some saturation out, so I was doing this sort of turquoisey color, but I wanted it to match the purple. So you want to take some saturation out, add just the tiniest little drop of black, which you have in your kit. If you don't like how one of your prints came out, maybe there wasn't enough paint on there, you can just line it up and do it again. Okay, so for my little contrast triangles, I'm going to do a sort of orangey color, but I want to take the contrast out of it. I want to make it a little darker, so I'm actually going to use, because it's opposite of purple on the color wheel, I'm using just the lightest little bit of the purple to mix into it. Because they're opposites on the color wheel, they kind of cancel each other out, and you can play with the tone of your color from there. How bright you want it to be, or how desaturated or neutral you want it to be. Okay, I'm going to flip this over and show you my cautionary tale. I thought about this and then I forgot to do it myself, but when you are painting this, you want to put a piece of cardboard in the center or a thick piece of paper, something to that nature, because what will happen is it will bleed, and because of the nature of acrylic, it could stick together as it's drying. So make sure you have a nice thick piece of cardboard that you can put in here to keep everything separate. Okay, I'm also going to show you now how to, if you wanted to do the dot work with these Q-tips. You can also use what works really well is the backside of a pencil, the eraser. It works like a little stamp. It's really nice, and it doesn't absorb the paint as much as the Q-tips. I gave you some nice cardstock, and you can cut out whatever shape you want. You can do a shape, you could do a heart, an anchor, your first initial. I did the word read. I didn't use good cardstock. I just printed it out because I was in a rush, but it'll show you what we're doing here. So we concentrate the dots around the letter, and then we spread it out as we go. So you just load your Q-tip with some paint and just hold down your piece here, and you're creating some dots. And I said, we're concentrating it around the edges so that when we pull away the template, it's really nice and clean. But as you go away, you make them more sparse. And you can play with the opacity and the texture. So you're doing this on the tote bag, so the texture will come through too. And there will be some blending. It dries pretty quickly, especially because we're just doing these little dots, but you can see there's some blending already going on. And you just let that go. Totally random. And then I like to add in the white. I really like the way that the white looks too in here, and it blends in with the colors. And you can't see it so much on my white paper, but it looks really nice on the natural tone of your tote bag. And see how it's blending in with everything else. Okay, so I'm going to finish this, and then I'll show you what it looks like when I reveal it. All right, and then you pull it away, and your image is there, and see how I got a little sloppy on this one, but see how we've created a really nice border and then it fades out. So this was just my very quick example of how to do that with the Q-tips, or like I said, the little round eraser on the back of a pencil would be perfect. So you can put this on your tote bag as well, or you can just do the stamping. You do the stamping on both sides, you could do this on both sides, however you would like to do it. Again, like I always say, you're only limited by your own imagination. Okay, so that's it. That is your tote bag, and you can do it in so many different ways. I would love to see you come on into the library and use your tote bag as a book bag, and if you do, please make sure to ask for me so I can see it. All right, everyone, that's it for me for today. I'll see you next time. Have fun!